Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Ken Mina every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do share with your friends and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you always for your kind support. Today we will be joined by Deepti Pinniti. She said she'll join us within 10 minutes. So meanwhile, there are two bits of news that I'd like to tell you, just the headlines. One is the Supreme Court has slammed the farmer leaders. They have said, the Supreme Court has said, you have strangulated Delhi, obstructing security and defense personnel. It is all in the media. Justice Khanvilkar stated that the farmer groups have already approached the court against the 3 farm laws, and as such, there is no point in protest. Here, friends, you're very well aware that this was not really a farmers' protest. It was all the anti-Indian forces that were joining hands right up to the toolkit to destroy whatever semblance of unity and peace there is in India. And what was happening inside these farmer units was there was alcohol, there was music, there was entertainment, there was massage, there was plenty of rich food. So it was not a farmers' protest at all. The second point is that illegal encroachments are a part of a blueprint to win elections by changing demography in constituencies, says Himanta Biswa Sharma. He's also stated that in the last Vidhan Sabha election, constituencies such as Batadraba, Barkhetri and Mangaladai constituencies fell to illegal immigrants due to changed democracies. Now, see, this is a very important point that he has raised, because what the Congress government has done or deliberately to get more votes is that they have brought in these Bangladeshis illegally to each part of India. I remember when I was traveling from Kerala, Bangalore to Kerala, there were many Bangladeshis who couldn't speak a word of Hindi or any other Indian language, asking. There was a leader who was taking them to Kerala and saying them, and they were asking him what they should do. And they were all like in a line, in a queue. And these people are being planted in every state to change the demographics and also to win these opposition votes. So this is something very important that Himanta Biswa Sharma has spoken about. Meanwhile, another good piece of news, friends, is that the brand which I mentioned, Manyavar, has taken off their ad which showed Alia Dutt, protesting against Kanyadan. So that's another piece of good news. Again, thanks to social media. I mean, they are really making their presence felt. Also, I will just take a few comments from here till Deepti joins us. Welcome, Monica. Mickey, because of me is no more but not forgotten. Yes, justice for SSR. Good evening, Gurbinder. Welcome, Vilakshan. Good evening, dear CM family. Eagerly waiting for today's session. Yes, thank you for joining us. Indran, welcome. Sharing, always welcome. Divya, good evening, Meena and Deepti. Happy to see Deepti's back-to-back sessions. Salute to both the brave ladies. She will join us, Divya, within a few minutes. Good evening, Meena, Shell, and Deepti waiting patiently for the session. Yes. Good evening, Karthik. Welcome, Misty. Maya, good evening. Hope there are no interruptions in the session. Let's go on a positive note there, Maya. I'm sure nothing. Doria, that's so right, and hope they work upon the same. Sangeeta, dear ma'am, CM members, greetings. Looking forward for Deepti's session. Special regards to Moniji, KB, and Karthik. Yes. Monica, the kind of games these people play to erase our value system, little do they know that these are not replaceable belief systems. Yes. Latika? Good evening, Minaji. Nice blue color and background. Thank you so much. Neelu, Minaji, Sushant Singh Rajput explained Paramveer history in his diary pages, but nobody saw it. Saw it, I suppose. Thank you, Sangeeta. Namaste, Minaji and Deepti, Poonam Bansal. The diaries are so crafted. Hats off to SSR. Absolutely. Koel looks like Paramveer fled. Yeah, they say that he's in Russia, or is he in New Zealand? Good evening, Bindu. Welcome. So I'll just wait for her to join us and take your comments. Kapil Sibyl, Hamari Billi, Hamse Meow. Yeah, that's a nice one, Karthik. Okay, she's joining us now, so I'll just add her.
Hello, Minaji. I'm here. I'm really sorry. I was not ready and I reached late. Just give me 1 minute, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, Minaji. I'm ready now. I'm sorry for the delay.
No, not at all. We always wait
I
for
thought-
you because you're doing such a massive job, Deepti. So we don't mind waiting as long as you are ready.
Did I miss any of your updates, Minaji?
Except for two things that I just mentioned now. One is the Supreme Court has, scolded the farmers. He stated that these farmer groups have already approached the court against the 3 farm laws, and he says that they've been pulled up by the Supreme Court for obstructing security and defense personnel. So it's all in the media. And the second thing is by Himanta Biswa Sharma saying that illegal encroachments are a part of the blueprint to win elections by changing demography in constituencies. So this is happening in every state where you have the opposition. I was just saying that, see, Congress has illegally brought in so many Bangladeshis into Karnataka and given them, illegal spaces and even lot of acres of land for farming. And this is only to win them votes. So there should be a strict law that these people have to be sent back to Bangladesh. They do not belong to India. And Bangladesh also has to take a strict stand that they have to take their inhabitants back. We do not want them. We have enough people of our own, and we will be the ones who decide who should come into power, not some other country, people from other countries. So these are the 2 points, Deepti.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we can just straight away start. If you have something to share, Deepti, please go ahead.
No, lots happening, but we will see much more, lots of drama in the coming few days.
Yes.
So, I mean, we don't know which news to follow, which news not to follow. Some saying that Paramveer Singh is absconding. He has left the country.
Yes.
But it is not coming out.
One of the news that I got was Abhijit Iyer. He said that he's in New Zealand. Okay. And another person said that he's in Russia. So I don't know whether to believe, because if it's Russia, I think Salman Khan is also in Russia now.
Yes, because see, what is happening, Minaji, is that now we have no credible source of information to follow.
Yeah.
I mean, mainstream media, it is hiding most of the things.
Yes.
And the ones it is highlighting, we don't know with which narrative it is highlighting. So we don't know which news to follow, what exactly is happening. So that is the confusion that the public is being kept in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Please start. Yeah.
Sure. I will start from where I left last.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Cobbler Scam. Another instance where something came for the poor. The people who reaped benefits out of it were politicians and businessmen. And yet again, the money that was siphoned off was too huge, and the actual scheme, which was meant for the poor, never reached them and ended up in the books of history as another scam, adding to the sorry state of affairs in our society. Yet another case where there was so much in it that strong actions could be taken, but the administration unfortunately is sleeping. Or, to put it in the other way, their mouths have been sealed with some bundles of money. And what happened in the end? Another file, and the pawns behind the bars, while the minds behind this get to add some more zeros to their assets. Don't you feel sorry or feel the pinch that this keeps happening? And what we get is nothing but a list of scams added to the list, and some more taxes on our head. Cobbler scheme was got by the government for the poor cobblers to give them a better standard of living. And the hope was that the problems these poor cobblers were going through would come to an end, and they would have better prospects and better equipments and raw materials at their disposal. This was what was proposed and approved. But then what followed was this huge scam, which I do not want to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Shame on us as we become victims to scams over and over again. But do not feel it right to ask questions to the people who bring the schemes out on how they execute it. Anyways, let's now get to understand what exactly happened and what this scam is all about. Why was this scheme brought into the picture? The poor cobblers who were working for over 16 hours in the day were paid a minor income of rupees 80 to 100 per day. And the government decided that this has to change and came up with this scheme where the government decided to help the cobblers by setting up cooperative societies throughout and help them with soft government loans with different types of schemes. Here started the plan, which had some huge names involved, who made sure that dummy societies were set up and dummy profiles were created, and the loans were disbursed to these dummy societies and dummy profiles. If there were 1,000 dummies who took benefit out of this, hardly one of someone who really was the one the government had in mind when the scheme was designed. This continued very smoothly for a long, long time. And the names that were involved in this started making huge money. With this, if the words of the people who have had that hope to take any hope out of this and how they were let down are to be believed, then the story goes something like this. This money that these people laid their hands on had interest rates so less that these people got this as easy money. And then they used to take this money out, then use it for their other businesses, pay the small rates of interest that settle the things out, and repeat the exercise over and over again till almost all the money was taken out and was used. We were told that the money is for us only, but we need to just help them for the first round so that the money that the government has let out gets multiplied 2 times and come back to us for our own benefits. ये बताया गया था कि जो अभी पैसा है उसमें हम सिर्फ कुछ लोगों की मदद कर सकते हैं, पर अगर ये दाव हम खेल लें तो इस पैसे को दुगना बना सकते हैं, इसमें हमारा फायदा ज़्यादा है. Was told to all the cobbler unions. Some cobbler unions agreed to this and the association continued, where the cobblers only got the dangling carrot hanging in front of them, while the businessmen kept rotating the funds for their benefits and evading all kinds of taxes, doing all kind of edits, addition and deletion in the account books, and made sure that the money was strategically planned into their accounts without anyone getting even the slightest of the hints of it. Lots of names came out, lots of people too became the prime subject of investigations. Everyone, every single party in the country, Congress, Shiv Sena, BJP, everyone was named, but nothing went further from here. Unfortunately, this is what happened once again. Names came out, investigations happened, and the puppets who were just used for this one instance faced the music. I just understand. I just don't understand the logic behind this. When the names are taken during the investigation, and moreover, when the names keep repeating in multiple instances, why is no action taken? If it was a common man, then the issue would take the name of a multiple offender, and powerful methods would be used to take a confession out of him. But what happens to all of this when the name that comes out has an angle attached to it? Are we so weak as a system to take action on certain people just because they either have money or position? Is it not the necessity that this situation has to change? Why is it that the law has gone into the pockets of the powerful and rich? This incident will again show that how these people have exploited us for years. Why do these people get out so easily? These questions keep coming to my mind always. And I am sure the only answer to these questions depends on the actions we take. Let's all make sure that we will roar out so loud that the government becomes helpless. But to act, be it a politician or a business or a celebrity, till actions are taken, we will not stop. And if someone is wrong, then he is wrong. No matter what, he is wrong. And we have to force the system to take action against these people. Else, we need to take steps to ensure this happens. And we have to stay united. I'm sure the common man too is now tired. But the only issue that holds him back is the fear of his family and the way these people trap him by framing him into false cases. If we get into a group instead of I, if we become us, then the situations will change and there will be a lot of differences in the way the system would react to this, and we will get our desired results for the betterment of this society. And this is when our society will change for once. Let's put this effort. I am sure this will work out. If this does not work out, then we shall think of something else. But we should try and keep trying till we reach our goal, and ensure we won't stop till we reach some goals are so worthy that even if you fail, you turn victorious. Because Swami Vivekananda always said that we need to try. If we win, we become leaders, and if we lose, we can guide others not to make the same mistake. This is how we need to be. Because when we do the right thing, we do not need to worry about anyone. Because if we fail, we have not lost anything. Because our great ex-president Abdul Kalam once said that fail is my first attempt in learning. And he also said, failure will never overtake me if my definition to succeed is strong enough. This small phrase is a huge statement in itself if we understand the actual and real meaning behind it. The only thing that we need to understand here is that if we have the determination to achieve something, then we do not need to worry about anything else. Because when we are determined to do something, then we will do it no matter what. No matter what is the situation or circumstance, we will emerge as winners. Getting back to the Cobbler scam, the names that came in here had some connections once again to Sharad Pawar. And not just Pawar, there were other politicians involved in this too. And this means that everyone was a part and took a huge cut in the total sum that was laundered. The stories that came out during this time shouted out on these involvements. People, and there were evidences too. But the people, the poor cobblers who had the evidences, were also silenced in two ways. Either they were bought with money or were silenced forever. The names that came out in this scam were Sohin Daya, the son of the former sheriff on Mumbai; Sadruddin Daya, the owner of Dawood Shoes; Rafiq Tejani, the owner of Metro Shoes; Kishore Signapurkar, proprietor of Milano Shoes; Abu Asim Azmi, owner of City Walk Shoes. Finally, to conclude, top officials of banks like Maharashtra State Finance Corporation, Citibank, Bank of Oman, Dena Bank, Development Credit Bank, Saraswat Cooperative Bank, and Bank of Bahrain and Kuwait were involved, and this came to light as well in the investigation. But not a single action was taken against any of these people. Everything died down. If you have understood the names here, you will know that Azmi was a local and powerful Samajwadi Party local leader. I feel so angry on these people, and especially on the media and the system and administration. All this is happening right under your nose, and you prefer to remain silent? What is making you remain silent? Is it just that we are only needed as puppets to be used during the time of general elections just for voting? Are the demands that we ask for a safe and just society too much for you to provide? Why is it that you get people with a criminal record form a part of your party and then make them contest elections too? Do you have answers for this? It's because of us people like you and me who do not see any background and go ahead and make these people our leaders by voting for them. Sometimes, despite knowing the background, we vote for them. If we vote responsibly, then there is another chance this can change. But then I remember another person who once told me that when you are power, you watch the back of the opposition party. And when you are not in power, the party in power will watch your back. This is what happens everywhere. The first thing that comes into the picture here is that this connection wherein innocent people, the common man, is the one who takes these things head on, fights on the name of these political parties. And these parties are actually hand in glove with each other. The people who brought these informations out to us were crystal clear on what they said when they pointed out that most of the scams that happen, equal shares go to one and all, and then the entire game is played. Once it's decided how the narratives are to be formed and spread to help things take shape and propagate matters to suit their mutual benefit. Moreover, when the narrative is spread, then the leaders themselves pump their followers to actually play the games according to what they have in mind and how they have planned whatever they were supposed to do. The Cobbler Scam, if we study, it closely gives us a lot of points to ponder over these issues and also makes us realize that all these hearsay stories that we have heard from a long, long time is actually true. And the only reason action does not happen the way it should is only because of these in-house connections that matter. And we need to be very, very careful as to how we plan and work around these and get to a conclusion. Most of the things that I have my hands on is very, very important that we get it out in the right channel through the right medium. Because here, everyone are feathers of the same bird. Each one is watching the other's back. So there is no much hope to get any outcome out of this unless there is the question of accountability or public pressure. Because till we get on their nerve, they won't really bother what is happening around. What is happening around this? And this is the reality. We need to get used to this. Understand and digest that there is no one out there who thinks of any kind of social service unless he or she can get something out of it in most case scenarios. So it's up to us how we plan and execute this, how we put things into action, and how we actually get to the root of the matter, as it stands for a fact that there is nothing going to happen or move forward on its own. If anyone can answer this simple question and apply common sense, you will get the entire essence of the matter here as to what I am trying to say. Number one, there are proofs. 2, there are people taking names. 3, there are recorded confessions made. 4, the prime accused points his fingers on some. So the question that I want to frame here is, when everything is so obvious, what is holding you people back to act on it? If we tune our brain to work on these points, and this question, we all will not need anyone to explain to us what exactly is happening. The lack of awareness is the biggest contention here, why some issues do not get the closure they deserve. And also the bunch of guys, that team which works behind the screen to make it all happen, who play a major role in executing such tasks and ensuring that the real bosses who actually plan this out and initiate all these processes do not come out in the open and get exposed. The basic job that needs to be done here, which already has started, is understand the modus and be fearless. Because in the society today, the way the society is functioning, we are going towards an inevitable doom, where the matters will get much worse from here. And however hard we try, we will not be able to reach the bottom of the pit unless we start soon. And the biggest confusion here, which is a question in itself, is what are the parameters that needs to be taken care of before we actually start? Because the group of people we are going to take on have been around for a long, long time. and know their game really well and have been into this almost like it's watching their own palm. These people are seasoned campaigners who know how to play the blame game and the game of pointing fingers if something comes out, and how to make sure to keep the agencies and the law establishments confused and totally off track when it comes to any action being taken on them. There are so many loopholes in our legal system that there are enough grounds to avoid facing the consequences of your action. There is a saying that even before a law is made, there are 100 ways designed to break it. एक कानून बना एक कानून बना नहीं कि उसके 100 तोड़ निकल जाते हैं. एक कानून बना नहीं कि उसके 100 तोड़ निकल जाते हैं. If we go back and think how we would actually realize that every word of this saying is true, and this is what has been happening for a very long time now, and will continue to happen, the reason behind this is very simple. Is hand in glove and work together to ensure that these people watch each other's back and make sure that if any problematic situation comes, people are there to watch each other's back. This is how the cabal or the nexus is functioning, and this happens round the clock. One more pattern that has to be noted here is that the first Harshad Mehta incident came out in 1992. The next Ketan Parekh incident came out in 2002. 2012 saw crashes in the global market, and there was an alleged scam shaping up which did not make that much of a noise and was cut down in the early days. If we follow the pattern based on the fact that there was one which happened in 1982 as well, the next one is going to come out in 2022. We still have over 3 years to work around it closely and see where what is happening to try and see if something like this is really cooking. Time will tell. But if worst of my fears are true, then 2022 might see another stock-related scam surface. The reason that I am saying this is because the one thing these people follow is pattern. The same pattern repeats every time. So if we go by the pattern, then the next hit is going to come in 2022. When a scam happens, there is a need to hide the money to evade taxes. And the best way this is done is by investment in stocks. There are a lot of people out there who are specialists in converting black money to white money. And when the money is pumped into stocks, there should be something done to ensure that this looks natural, which means the standard norms have to be broken. When standard norms are broken, calculations misfire. And when calculations misfire, what follows is the matter comes out. This, according to me, is the pattern in which all these things are interconnected. I might be wrong here in my judgment too, but the reason I am penning this down is every angle of thought that can lead to getting the truth out, every effort put in this direction is unique in itself. And if we have something to go back and brush up on, then the execution becomes that more easier. And we will be able to think for ourselves what changes are to be made. This is one thing that we need to have as a backup during the entire course of the journey, because just in case the need arises, we need to have something to fall back on and work around if in case we lose the track and have to start all over again. The one common thing so far in whatever we have come across and whatever is being brought in front of us is this connection: politics, businessmen, underworld, police, middlemen. Go back in the pages of the history and try and make connections for yourself. You will get to know that the point I am trying to make here makes complete sense. From the time of 1982 till date, there were ample evidences for the establishments to lash out hard and take things to task. But the actions that followed were nowhere close to any sort of conclusion. And the people who faced the music were mere puppets, and the hands which controlled them are scot-free. Is this not some kind of a joke, wherein when everything is so crystal clear in front of your eyes, and you people yourselves have your hands in this, is this the reason no action ever happens? Some tough questions are in store. Gentlemen, be prepared for it. I have put a team to work on the questions that we need to ask, and I will ensure each of these questions that we are going to ask will be framed in such a way that an answer should be given. Unless you find an answer to it, you will not be let out. Without you answering these questions, the questions will definitely be tough. If you want to cook stories around it, but if you are speaking the truth, then there is nothing for you to worry about. This is how I will make sure that the questions are framed, and the questions will come out when it will make the most impact. You always bank on time, right? Let me show you how time too can backfire on you. I will make sure that we will carefully pick where and when to ask you these questions so that you cannot avoid. If you avoid to, we won't stop till you are forced to answer. And we will make sure that you will answer these questions. We will make you answer. I'm not sure about the rest, but I have had enough of this and have realized how we all were taken for a ride and were kept in the dark when so many issues and problems were always there and nothing really happened around it. Understand, wake up, analyze before it is too late. We need to understand one thing here, that is, we are in a state of collapse, wherein one day will soon come that people who want to stand for the truth and are honest will find it difficult to even breathe. And this is when everyone will feel the pinch. We are heading there at a steady speeding pace, and the only brake that can be applied is our actions that we have to take by standing against the tide. This has to happen soon, else we will have nothing but our hands on our head and tears in our eyes. And the same group of people who have been doing this and are continuing doing so will only get more and more stronger with the passage of time. And when they reach this position, any action or counteraction we take will not make any impact or do any damage to them whatsoever. The other thing that is even more interesting here is how the legal system takes action too. Just peanuts on the name of fine and some years to spend behind bars. And then within days of getting arrested, the bail is processed and the person is out free. And then the case continues and the person lives on as if nothing has happened. Take the history of the biggest scandals that have happened in the country and then see the pattern. It is the same. This is the sorry state of events that have been going on for a long, long time. The only way to put a stop to this is we have to make sure that we keep these things out in the public domain and make the public realize how they were made fools of. Then whatever will happen, I'm sure some like minds will join and the people will take the matter forward. There is no bigger victory than a group of people who have their priorities straight and know the direction they are heading towards. This will give this mission of mine the much needed direction and will also add a new dimension to this fight altogether. Let me make this statement here once again. I have nothing against anyone, but if your actions prove dangerous and prove a threat to the society, that's the only problem I will ever have. And this is when we will step in to counter you. Because whatever anyone can give any explanation to any action that is taken, if you have made any move which will have adverse effect on the society, then whatever explanation you have for it, there is nothing that can explain your actions that damage the society. You have all the benefits you need. You have all the benefits you needed to, and have exploited us enough. But now I feel the time has come where you will have to pay for your actions. I'm not going to stop, and I will ensure that this mission will continue even if I am part of it or not, and have ensured that this will be out in front of the public without any support from anyone whatsoever. I trust my select set of people, and each of them are well aware of the do's and don'ts. So, this time you have your time, and the actions that will follow, we will all work towards it to ensure it is carefully planned. We cannot afford to make mistakes because if we make a mistake here, there is every risk of this entire thing going for a toss. But we have to be prepared for everything. The counter to any action we take against them will come from any angle. Sometimes it can come from close quarters too, can come from anywhere or anyone. As as I have explained earlier, the first attack will come from someone whom you have differences of opinion with. Then a whole series of gimmicks will follow, which will make you fall flat on your face. If you do not have the proper planning, and also you need to be prepared to face a lot of criticism as well. They can go down to any extent to put a full stop on you and your activities that you would want to expose these people. Because what they cannot digest is anyone who wants to take an action against these people will go to any extent to keep themselves and their images clean so that their works continue without any hindrances from anyone. This point, keep it deep in your mind before you want to start anything. The only thing you need to focus on, or maybe think how ready are you to go for it, is how prepared are you to let go of certain things which mattered the most to you once upon a time in your life? And how important is the task that you are taking up to you? Is it that important that you can go against the entire world for it and still be yourself? If the answer to these questions are yes, only then you take things into your hands. Else, there is no point in doing anything. Neither will you be happy, neither will you be able to achieve anything that you want to achieve. Because there will be one point in life wherein your own self will ask you, are you happy doing what you're doing? That time you should have a smile on your face and the confidence in yourself that yes, I am happy and I am doing what makes me happy. Life is this simple and it depends on us how we channelize our priorities. To conclude on the chapter of Sharada Chit Fund scam, it was present in all states that Kolkata had borders with and was spread to Telangana and Bihar too. However, the amounts which came from some states were actually negligible. The entire issue on the whole itself was a huge question mark. Still remains unanswered as to how the money that came out of this, which then was used in the elections as well, and other things as well, which came out with the Narada sting operation, and there was nothing, no action happened, and the cases are still going on. I don't know what to say and what not to. Everything is there in front of the eyes, and we have closed our eyes, is all I want to conclude. Adarsh Housing Society scam. A soldier lays down his life for the country without caring about his family or anyone else, but only about the nation. And his spirit of patriotism and his bravery is the reason we still have the tricolor flying high, as the voice keep telling. It's the breath of these soldiers that keeps the tricolor flying high. I would like to ask this question to you, people. What would your action be if this very soldier's family gets taken for a ride and it's out there in the news? How would you react to this? Adarsh Housing Society, a venture which was planned to support the war widows and some officials of the Ministry of Defense. This 31 storied structure was constructed to accommodate these families who lost their near and dear ones in the service of the country. But as years passed by, the flats that were supposed to go to these people read the names of bureaucrats, politicians, and some army officials too, sad, who managed to get hold of them and getting flats allotted to themselves at prices much below the market rate. This scam is one such where once again things were crystal clear and every pointer showed the involvement of the nexus yet again, but unfortunately, once more, what happened is the same tune repeated again. Files, cases, investigation, and inquiry, and the people involved are actually walking free. This was one such incident where a incumbent chief minister was involved and was forced to resign when the scam came out. But what has happened after that? The finger pointing games continue and continues even to date. But what exactly was the scene and how this all took shape is very important to be discussed and known so that we are well aware how these people, like termites, have been corroding the very foundation of our country. To start with, let us go back to the report submitted by Sri Vinod Rai, IAS, the Controller and Auditor General of India. The episode of Adarsh Cooperative Housing Society reveals how a group of select officials placed in key posts could subvert rules and regulations in order to grab prime government land, a public property for personal benefit. The Judicial Commission that was set up to investigate on this scam found out a lot of things, and investigations went on for as long as 2 years. The reports, which came out in April 2013, highlighted 25 illegal allotments, including 22 purchases made by proxy. The reports read the following names: Ashok Chavan, Vilas Rao Deshmukh, Sushil Kumar Shinde, Shivaji Rao Patil, Rajesh Tope, Sunil Tatkare, Devyani Cobra Gade, Pradeep Vyas, Kanhaiya Gidwani, P.V. Deshmukh, A.R. Kumar, T.K. Kaul, M.M. Vanchu. There were a lot more names that came out which were buried down, because the single statement that came out was the public servants whose names have come out in this scam will face departmental inquiry. But nothing much really happened, because the approach towards the politicians whose names were involved was visibly very, very soft, as it was a question of political patronage. If this was not enough, it was found out that as many as 22 Benami transactions had happened, and the recommended action against these transactions too did not happen, as it would if the issue was something else. The investigations followed, and some of these names were arrested only to get bailed out, and the case continues. This case again shows us the deep links these people have, and how many initiative taken for anyone for that matter does not reach the intended group of people who initially were the area of concern for the initiative to take shape. Ketan Tirodkar, one of the first to file a PIL on this, and this man made sure he followed up the case, and is currently in hot pursuit of the same too. But this Ketan Tirodkar was sentenced to 3 months in prison for contempt of court for defamatory comments on Facebook. Luckily, Supreme Court took stock of the situation and got a stay on this judgment. But what confuses me here is, what does the common man has to do? He files a petition in court, but the court takes its own sweet time to rule out a judgment. The investigations reveals the names of people, they get bail and are let out free. Media will spin their own web of theories and narrations to confuse the people more. Then the dates in the courts are further shifted for some reason or the other. Too many things can be added here. I leave it up to you. What more do you want to add? According to me, this sums up the main issue on hand. Now, if someone who almost loses all hope and wants to tell people takes to social media to explain what exactly happened, is booked for contempt of court. Now, really, is this what our justice system has reduced to? Seriously, the people who did the crime are walking free, and the man who took it on himself to try and get the matter out and presented true facts was made to wait. And seeing nothing working in his favor, came out in the social media to make the public aware of what is happening. Gets a 3-month sentence. Is this what you get for being honest and trying to put an effort to fight for the cause of truth? While speaking the truth and presenting facts, if you feel the comments are defamatory, my argument here would be fine. Let's take the 3-month punishment. How long should your punishment be for letting this happen, for forcing someone to lose all hope and blurt out on social media? Do you have an answer to this, or will shut it down as no comments? This is what is happening in the country today. No matter, even to the naked eye, if it looks like an open and shut case, the case gets dragged unnecessarily. And what you are told is that when the case is on, do not go out in the media or open up in front of anyone. But then for how long do we expect this to continue? And for how long do we have to ensure that keep this in silence? I feel seriously that everyone who is having a case in the court should come out in the open and speak up about their experiences and the kinds of pain they had gone through during the journey of the case. This has to multiply, and we all should stand in support of these people. Once we find out how true is their fight, if there is the truth in their fight, we have to ensure that we stand fully in support of them so that we can create that additional pressure on the establishments and make sure they bow down to this so that these cases move faster. The one way we can stop this game of power is by getting united and taking an united stand against these people. And when we make sure that we have taken an united stand, our power will be more because we have the numbers to stand with us. Now, the situation in hand is the people who have filed the cases in court are getting harassed and being diverted from the case with some alternative that these people have planned, which drag the case further and further and further. But if we as citizens take a strong stand, then we can make sure changes happen. I am making a reference here to the cases like this Others Housing Society scam, where activists have filed cases, and cases like that of Jia Khan, where Rabia ji is fighting. I am not talking about those cases where the grievance of the matter is not serious. When the name of Ashok Chavan came out, he started pointing out fingers to Vilasrao Deshmukh. And then he struck to this and made sure he kept playing this side of the card till Vilasrao Deshmukh passed away. And then the blame game shifted. And when the dates started coming near, Tirodkar was booked, but have seen the names that have come out in this scam. Some of them are still in service. And the others that were involved in this scam were named in other scams as well. Some names are too common. The people who are now working in the system, who were a part of this scam, are on top position in the government setups today. See where we are heading, people. People who had to cane in public are still sitting on your head and are dominating us. The game continues even to date. Are we that dumb not to realize? Do we always need someone or the other to open our eyes? Is this how easy we can be played with? The society is not wrong, all in itself. The problem is with us and our parameters of judgment. We have things right in front of our eyes. Until we feel within ourselves that what is happening around is wrong, no matter how much anyone shows us the truth in the matter, we will never be able to connect to the root cause of the issue. These simple questions every citizen in our country needs to put a serious thought about. Why am I paying my taxes? What is my government doing for me? What are these leaders here for? Why is the law system not same for all? Why are elite crimes getting hidden? Why does the judgment criteria change with growing intensity of the case? And why do the same names come out every time? Why are the reports from the investigation agencies not taken seriously? Why are the inputs which come from various different sources not taken into consideration when it clearly indicates a connected story to say? Why is it that these inputs are ignored time and over again? Why is RTI in place when most of the inquiries that have been asked for are declined with one clause or the other? Why is it that when a politician is named in a scam, why does the Election Commission not ban these politicians from contesting again? As a responsible citizen of the country, it becomes our duty that we question our country when we see something wrong is happening. And let me keep reminding this, that we have to stand up against the wrong now, right now. If we do not stand up now, then there is no point we cry later. So many scams have shown us where do we stand actually. Now it's up to us. Do we take stock of the ground situation and question out on the judgments made? And also make sure we start asking those tough questions which you feel it's necessary to ask. The context here is how important is it in your dictionary to react to this situation that we are in, because unless you get it from inside, there is no point in doing anything. The pages of history indeed has taken names. There were inquiries that happened too. Some huge names came out as well. But the only reason I feel no action happened, decisive action, is because we are not up to the task. We have gone into a deep slumber wherein we are not even bothered to understand or make an effort to understand what is happening around us. This is the exact situation in the country, and it's up to us how we come out of it. The names that have come out are huge and seasoned politicians, businessmen, bureaucrats, police officials, police officers, and some underworld don is connected to all of these names in one way or the other. I do not want to feed my thought process onto you, but the reason I am writing all this down, as I feel it's very important that we all have this in our minds, that this is the situation we are in, and what steps we need to take in order to make sure that we put that effort to change the situation that we are in. And it's up to us how we change the situation that we are in now. Not only does it become our responsibility, but it should become our necessity, and we should act fast towards it. Just imagine a venture which was erected for the widows of those men who laid their lives in service of the nation has flats registered on other names. And the names that actually should have made in the list have no connection whatsoever to the motive in which the standout is that the people, those who should have gotten the flats, have never received it. And what makes it even the more interesting is that there was a movie made on this subject, and the movie did not show half the facts that happened real time. This is another curse on us, wherein facts are altered and presented in front of us in the form of a movie. Me being from the same industry, I might face the wrath of this when I come out. But the fact is that I really don't care. Because when country comes into the picture, nothing else counts. Nothing else would even matter. Because what I personally feel is that if you want to do a movie around real incidents, at least make sure that you have 50% of the incidents shown in the movie match the actual chain of events that have happened in real time. If not, don't hurt the sentiments of the people who have lived through it and have suffered enough. I feel ashamed when I see such movies that whatever is shown on the name is dramatization of facts, is nowhere close to reality. Watch these movies after you have known the facts. You will spit on the face of the director and the producer just because you will find no much dramatization that you'll not be able to hold back. Just because you will find so much dramatization that you will not be able to hold back. Answer one simple question for me. What is it that holds us back in raising questions? Fear? Humility? What is it that is holding all of you back? Just sit back and think. Is what happening in the society right? The knock will definitely come from inside to stand against this. If your conscience is right, if you have kept quiet for the lack of a platform or support, then wait for me to come out. We will all create that platform using which we all will work towards a better society. Others Housing Society took a lot of names. One such name it took was Devyani Khobragade. This name in itself is a huge name when it comes to the list of scams. This woman is famous for the Devyani Khobragade incident, which in itself was another dirty chapter in the pages of the history. My God, when I got to hear about this too, many emotions flew in at once in my mind, and I was able to channelize them with great difficulty. So, here, when I write about this chapter, I might make a lot of connections and might go a little off track. One officer of IFS and a list of scams, and still active in the system. Strange, right? Here, while I speak about this case, you will for yourself know how sad is the situation in our country. Devyani Khobragade first surfaced in the Adarsh Housing Society scam. But what happened after that was a chain of events where this woman's name surfaced more than once in the media. And the reports and some of the incidents in which Madam's name was involved clearly showed how a diplomat can misuse his or her position to help people who are close to them. Go back and read in the books of history, you will not find me wrong. Because what I am quoting here have been written in the books of the history. But the boldness of the ink is fading, and it's not that visible. This ink is fading because our administration has turned a blind eye towards these issues. and this woman is still functioning in the system. This will become a very sensitive issue if we take this up. But when there is the element of truth involved in whatever is being published, spoken, and told, one should not step back or think twice before going ahead with it. This woman was involved in quite a few scams and then had good support from politicians too. So this matter never got the conclusion it would if it was someone else. This is another chapter which is dated back in the books of history, where we can see for ourselves how shallow our system is, how easy it is to play around with our system, and the actions that follow. If you have money or power, or sometimes both, then you have nothing to worry about. I do not think this needs special attention, but I will give a small narration of this incident because the connections this female had in other scams and the political angle is very, very important, so that everything these people do behind the closed doors comes out and everyone is well aware of what is happening and how things happen, though by now this far a lot of things have come to light. But the one thing is which continues is this connection, which has been making our society weak since the time of when the society started, maybe. Number one, Union of India versus Mahavir C. Singhvi. This judgment is out there, everywhere. Just go and read it out for once. The mode of allotment was amended for the 1999 batch in such a calculated fashion that Miss Khobragade, who was at serial number 7, was given her choice of German over and above the respondent, who graded at 2 stages above her. This was the official statement given by the Supreme Court of India. This case was a case filed to bring out the vendetta of activities of the Ministry of External Affairs affecting his service. His service here means Mr. Singhvi's service. Do you find the instance here? If you do not want to believe me, here, go and look up for yourself and you will see for yourself what actually happened, because this is there in the Supreme Court records. And now if you want to see the connection between the parties, then to add to this, I would like to say that she was reinstated back onto her position in 2014 under the Minister of State, and she decided to work for Kerala. Now tell me, is my analysis wrong when you have so many instances that prove the involvement that unless the people, those who are in power, are there to watch your back, then there is no way any scam or any other event that has ever happened in our country. You seem to have tuned your minds to such an extent wherein unless it comes out on news channels, you will not believe it, right? Go back and see the records now and see for yourself how these issues have happened and who stood as a pillar behind the people who have done this. 2. Visa fraud. In 2013, Ms. Khobragade was arrested on the charges of visa fraud and perjury under Title 18 United States Code Section 1546. Read this out, what this is, which created ruckus and went to an extent of creating a diplomatic tiff between India and the US. And moreover, when the diplomats from US came to India, some politicians lashed out loud on them. One name in that was Sushil Kumar Shinde. Now this is another name that came out in the Adarsh Housing Society scam too. Now tell me, what should we conclude here? And everyone came up and standing up in support for Miss Khobragade. But what about the woman who became a target to this? Do you even know the name of that person who took the hit and suffered? The name is Sangeeta Richard. She was a domestic worker who was one of the prime targets of these rogue people who made life hell for small people. Everyone had sympathy for Miss Khobragade, but who stood for Sangeeta Richard? Who will be the voice of the unheard? Finally, this woman was also booked for dual citizenship, and this too made huge news. And again, this went down the drain. Once again, if someone really wants to study this, please go into the court records and see for yourself. what the records have in them. You will come to know for yourself how dirty the scenes are in the systems of our country. I am so sorry for all this, but these are the facts that have come out during the course of my work, and I feel it's everyone's right to know what is the truth. If these connections do not make you understand what the reality is and how we are being exploited, then God alone save you. Because people who are sleeping can be woken, but the people who are acting asleep, no one can wake you up. This is what I will conclude. If you people do not get to understand all this and still prefer to remain indifferent, then I do not know what do I call you. I am sorry. For me, when I got to know about this, I was totally in for this and took this up and made sure I started collecting all this information for myself because I want to see a change in the society and make this society a better place for one and all. I would say that for now, I have not even covered 10% of the scams that have happened in the country. When I finish the whole episode, everyone will get a shock to learn from the conclusions how big a game was played with us, despite having everything in the public domain and also having everything crystal clear in front of our eyes, and still we were silent and did not recognize. For now, I will make sure I will roar out really loud and hope that people will join hands with me and understand that if we do not take things into our own hands for now, then we will not be able to do anything. If we remain silent now, I understand that documenting all this will take a lot of time. But then the fact remains is that it's worthy, every single second of it, because the informations that I have and that I have worked and collected on it, these informations have to come out in front of the people. Because when this happens, people will actually connect to a lot of things which they were not able to till now. Because what was happening is that till now there was not a total picture of whatever has been happening in our society today. Now the actual thing will come out, how much anyone wants to do something for themselves. See, the thing here is that the society is a mirror of what is running in your mind. And it's the reflection of your mind that the society shows you in front of you. Now, when these things come out, I want to wait back and see what happens when you have that opportunity to come out in the open and share your problems too. Here in this journey, when I come out, I'm sure I will face some kinds of situation. And these situations, if I would want to sum up, I would sum it up as follows. 1. People who will oppose this. 2. People who will support this. 3. Some people will connect to this. 4. Some people will come out with their side of the issues as well. 5. Some people will remain indifferent. 6. Some people will attack. 7. Some people will confuse themselves totally. Minaji, here I would like to take a break and
Yeah.
because, yeah, couple of minutes. Because initially today I shared something on Twitter last time. In your last show, I took some names. I told that I will share the
Yeah.
slides mentioning their names.
Names.
Okay, so yeah. So on June 20th this year, I had shared the slides which had their names, but I had omitted the names.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to cover those 4 slides once
Yes.
again. Go back.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Can you
Yeah.
please give me 2 minutes?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, Raphael says, saw the wild trollers on Twitter abusing all YouTubers like Minaji, Deepti and BA, Grace, and others. They should not be spared by Interpol. Why give them free rein to abuse all and sundry? Very bad. This is something that happens all the time, Raphael, that we've got used to now because we know who are sending these trolls. Welcome, Arinya. Amit, welcome. Ninja, only Mr. Samir Vankari is working from NCB. Yeah, looks like. So true, authorities are infiltrated by the cabal. They have no intent. Only we can boycott and break this nexus. Rini, yes. Here, what I want to ask you friends, viewers, is that, see, how can, NIA allow Paramveer to escape? Was it with their knowledge? I mean, you say that you are such a powerful federal agency. How can you allow Paramveer to get away? And is he in the country or is he out? Are you trying to fool the people by saying that he's out so that nobody bothers him, or what? What's happening here? If you can catch Waze, you could have kept tabs on Paramveer as well. The center has to answer for this. Laila, it's yeah. Let me look at something. Just imagine 4 centuries ago, people came here disguised as merchants, pillaged our motherland because we trusted them without any forethought. At least now we are more aware whom we have to trust. Karthik. Here, viewers, I'd like to say that a lot of beautiful, comments coming from you, from Ramesh, from VG Ware, and from many people. So I'm finding it very interesting. Thank you so much. VG says, thanks for your hard work and reading continuously. Kindly take a break and explain in Hindi also. Where is the story going? Yes. SSR sacrificed his life for every Indian, Nihai says, and he touched many hearts like us, foreigners. But as he said, we should not wait. They make us jokes. We wait till they make us jokes or make fun of us. We should show what public can do for him. Yes, absolutely. Oh, very, very well said. A politician's religion, money, nothing else. VG, where it's important to know and make people aware that we shouldn't follow Bollywood celebs blindly, especially TV ads, and boycott these ads. So, as we said, Manyavar has taken back the ad. The restaurant and Aquila has closed down, change the channel or mute TV during advertisement time. Whenever Akshay comes on, in the ads, I feel like puking. Yes, I just changed channels because I can't watch his face. Rini, he chose the profession. Only getting in muck, you learn what mistakes. And about the girl yesterday who died, they say that she committed suicide. The Kannada artist. Just 1 second, Deepti. See, the Kannada TV artist who died yesterday, where they said it's a suicide, it's all, crap. Because the mother of the girl said that she was waiting for her. She had asked her to make her some special vegetable curry, and she was waiting for her and her brother. And she was in a good mood. And now all these people say that she was depressed and she committed suicide. And she's only 25 years. So it's again, see, I have already tweeted to the chief minister also that there is a pattern happening in Mumbai. Let this pattern not happen in Karnataka as well. Because Sandalwood is very well known for drugs. So let this not become another Mumbai, Yeah.
Minaji, it's basic thing. I mean, one rotten apple will spoil all the apples in the basket if it is not thrown out in time. And here they are not being thrown out. The cases are dragging for years. They are roaming free. So naturally, this will spread. That is why he was so worried. That is why Sushant was so worried, because this is only going to get worse.
Yes. See, for example,
just imagine.
Vivek Oberoi's brother-in-law was caught for drugs. Huge. He's a don of drugs. Then what happened? Nothing happened. After that, actresses were caught.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, these people get caught. Okay. And if it is strong enough, they get arrested, but the bail is approved within the next 48 hours or so. Then they come out, and God knows then what happens to the case. They are free their entire life.
Yes. So, okay, back to you.
And such things are happening frequently now, because it will happen.
Yes.
Because corrective measures are not being taken. The criminals are feeling encouraged in such an atmosphere to commit crimes and get away with it. So the frequency of such mysterious deaths and unsolved crimes will keep increasing if we do not take a stand even today.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So I will read the slides which I shared on 20th of June. I had left 2 slides because I wanted to protect the names, but as I told in the latest, in your previous show, I will cover those slides, Minaji. Okay? Yeah. So my interaction and the progress in my research. This now from here is a new chapter wherein we will speak about my progress in the work I am doing, the entry of new people in my life, and also the impact of some decisions. I took this chapter is going to be one of the most important chapters in this journey because here I got to know a lot of things when relations with the society and my friend circles are concerned. In this chapter, before I go ahead and cover the contents that are going to be discussed, let me in brief explain why this initial explanation is important and what should we be doing in order to establish ourselves in our fight against the corrupt system. You have four main contacts to get any job done with respect to any doubts you have in any of the matters discussed are as follows. 1. Disha Salyan. 2. Sandeep Nahar. 3. Tiger Shroff. 4. Nawazuddin Siddiqui. For funds or other technical requirements, you can approach these following people. 1. I left the name. That was Sharman Joshi's reference. 2. Again, I left the name. It was through Disha Salyan. 3. I have left the name here. It was through Tiger Shroff. 4. I have left the name here as well. It's through Nawazuddin Siddiqui. So now for the funding, you can always get in touch with Tiger or Nawaz Bhai, whom we shall henceforth call Jay and Bawa. But if you are not able to connect to these, then you can get in touch with this superstar. The contact details are as follows. Contact through Telegram is the best option because we do the same. And then he gave the contact details of Tiger Shroff, Nawazuddin Siddiqui and some others, which I haven't mentioned in the slide that I have shared. Okay. Please note, this star doesn't respond quite often on Telegram. I will be sharing his number in the slides later. The best way to get in touch with him is through WhatsApp. The way you can get in touch with him also, I will explain. The most important thing here, please remember, this is just one part of my team. And there are more people. If you have reached here, means that you have no intentions of foul play whatsoever. And from now on, the slides that you read in this drive are very, very important. And it does have a lot of information which can make you super strong in your approach towards this fight. There has been a lot of foul that has been played with me. And I can say one thing after being in between these people is that these people can go to any extent to get their jobs done. And now let me reveal some names on whom you should keep your eye on, and you should be more than watchful, as when you start working on this, these people will somehow find their way to you and make sure that they start getting close to you, because a lot of masks will fall, and this mask falling means that you are in the position where you can write the future of each of these names I mentioned below. So until you finish this whole drive, don't act or react to anything. Most importantly, keep these informations only to yourself, and don't even share a word from this to your shadow too. What Ankita did, I got over instantly. What Ankita did, I got over it. Sarah never really happened. Thank God. My eyes opened even before something like a friendship could even develop. But frankly speaking, she was just a co star. But yes, I had slowly begun to trust her as a good friend. And let me make it clear, just friend. But Ria, now I begin to get a strong gut feeling, is also not true and straight. I have to, from now on, take my own precautions, because not a single person is completely trustworthy. And my journey has shown me a lot of faces like Vijay Raj, Kaka Biryani. Now, the Mr. X mentioned in my slides earlier. The Mr. X number one is late Bal Thackeray, the man who buried Divya Bharti case for INR 5 crore in those days. The Mr. X number two is Jagmohan Dalmia, the man who always had vested interests. The entire episode of the entry of South Africa back then. The entire episode of the entry of South Africa back then. The Mr. X number, I will repeat this again, Minaji. The Mr. X number two is Jagmohan Dalmia, the man who always had vested interests. The entire episode of the entry of South Africa back into the cricket world, I have explained, revolves around this man, and why Sharad Pawar came into cricket too rotates here. some more exposures to be made on this cricket issue. I will get back to it later, as and when I proceed. The Power Baby and the connections too that are going on now sound a little fishy, but I don't want to comment anything till I reach to the roots of it. The Mr. X number 3, the man who is probably, I would say, fill in the blanks for description, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, the Thakkar scam and the connections around it, and how this man manipulated so many facts around it, and also ensured that without anyone getting a single doubt about a single instance, has been quite successful over 2 years. Over 2 years to manipulate a lot of cases without anyone getting a single doubt about a single instance. I will read this again, Minaji. Please excuse me. Okay. The Mr. X number 3, the man who is probably, I would say, fill in the blanks for description, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, the Thakkar scam and the connections around it, and how this man manipulated so many facts around it, and also ensured that without anyone getting a single doubt about a single instance, has been quite successful over the years to manipulate a lot of cases, a lot of informations, and has always been able to do most of the damage and yet act naive. If God gives me this one opportunity that He will spare me for one mistake, I would do. I would want to first take one huge stone and put it on this man's head, but not kill him. This man literally is a parasite who has been sucking out heavily from everyone. People who trusted him too, people who betrayed him too. Not just this. Dr. Swamy is also the, how do I put it? If someone were to construct a college for blackmailing, Dr. Swamy would be the chairman of the college. The Mr. X number 4, the Sahanshaw of Bollywood, another man with strong links in the politics of India. And the story of Aladdin Ka Chirag, which I mentioned earlier, is around Amar Singh and Amitabh Bachchan. How could they both team up, and also the dirty game of politics which was played with Doordarshan, where the Dalmia Pawar duo played a major role too. The Mr. X number 5 is Bill Gates, and that interview where he mentions about the fact that we are not prepared for a pandemic which will rise. Along with China, if someone has to be stripped and prosecuted for this COVID virus, which has ruined everyone, then it has to be this man, Bill Gates. When I was in CERN, the discussions I had and a few people I had met told me about this initially. When the discussion started, I thought it was jealousy or some other agenda of theirs, which Ria was continuously telling me to be aware of. That why would they talk about all this to a person who is not in any ways connected to anything whatsoever to the subject of the issue that was being discussed? Wish I would apply my brains then and there and could have done something around it. But even now, when I go back and think about it, I feel any normal human being with normal intellect or extraordinary intellect for that matter too would conclude that a successful person has enemies, and these enemies are bitching behind his back. This chapter is a huge one, and this is one of the main reasons I am now working on the app where COVID-19 can be tested. Please understand that I am not spreading any theory from my own pocket, but these are some dirty facts and some big names are involved in this. The only reason I am taking time to get to the point where I can discuss all this freely is the devil can come into you anytime. The names that I have taken till now and lot of people I have is because, the names that I have taken till now and one more person who can actually give you complete information around this is Asif Bhai. And the reason I picked Asif Bhai amongst the lot of people I have is because he maintains a very low profile. Once the COVID actually happened, I got in touch with these people and some more people. Just a second, Meenaji. Just a second, I need a break.
Yes, yes. Maya says SS must have been taken an about turn, having come to know about these diaries. Laila, a cash of 1 crore should be announced for catching. Yes, this is a good solution, Laila. KB, I think Vivek's father in law was in Congress, Nagappa, I believe his name was, but Vivek's brother in law is in BJY down south. Misty. Amar Singh, Amitabh Bachchan, yes. 2 other people we don't trust. Best friends of Pawar. Cash award, yes. Ninja, then why Swami is showing off so much in SSR case? Misty, silly Billy Gates, yes. I really wonder who else is left. With all inclusive, no wonder CBI doesn't want anything to do with Sushant's diary. Of course, CBI must be already having it, as said earlier. Yes, yes, Manali. Vivek's in laws, yes, they are into politics. And see, all these people, whether it was Shilpa Shetty or all the others, they used to go to Sri Lanka. You know, this actress who was caught for drugs, Sanjana from Sandalwood, they were all in Sri Lanka with Arbaz Khan, you know, where they do what do you call gambling and drugs. So there were many images of that, photos of that. Yeah, let me just add, keep. Sorry, Deepti. Yeah, Deepti. Welcome.
Yes, Meenaji. The same thing, because I think people didn't get understand about Swami, and that is what people are saying in the comments as well. That has come to my notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will read that again
Yes.
for the sake of people. Yeah. So the Mr. X number 3, the man who is probably, I would say, fill in the blanks for description, dot, 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 dot. Dr. Subramaniam Swami, the Thakkar scam and the connections around it, and how this man manipulated so many facts around it, and also ensured that without anyone getting a single doubt about a single instance, has been quite successful over the years to manipulate a lot of cases, a lot of informations, and has always been able to do most of the damage and yet act naive. If God gives me this one opportunity, then I will, if God gives me this one opportunity that He will spare me for one mistake I would do, I would want to first take one huge stone and put it on this man's head, but not kill him. This man literally is a parasite who has been sucking out heavily from everyone, people who trusted him too, people who betrayed him too. Not just this, Dr. Swami is also the, how do I put it? If someone were to construct a college for blackmailing, Dr. Swami would be the chairman of the college. The Mr. X number 4, the Shahenshah of Bollywood, yet another man with strong links in the politics of India. And the story of Aladdin Kachira, which I mentioned earlier, is around Amar Singh and Amitabh Bachchan. How could they both team up? And also the dirty game of politics, which was played with Doordarshan, where the Dalmia Pawar duo played a major role too. This Swami Priyamji and Imtiaz Khatri are two people. This Swami Priyamji and Imtiaz Khatri are two people who have always created havoc in innocent lives and have done so many things. which when you read, I can guarantee that you will faint, just like I did. Faint in the sense, what I mean is you will go blank and have no stream of thoughts flowing in your head. These people run a blackmailing racket, and the list goes huge. And yes, the first step they take is honey trapping. These people here, when I mention, is the names that I have taken with respect to the Mr. X number 6 and his team of chelas. The Mr. X just wants his job done, and the chelas, not the XCM, but the others, execute it from the ruling party. I think I was reading about Bill Gates, right?
Yes, about Bill Gates.
Oh,
Yes, you finished
sorry.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so I finished that, right? Okay. Once the COVID actually happened, I got in touch with these people and some more people whom I shall tell in detail with their detailed designations, and one team of us started working on this. This COVID-19 is a huge controversy from the New World Order and some other organizations which work in the dark to ensure that the common man doesn't rise to that extent wherein he can use his intellect and see through the agenda of various governments. So many big names are involved in this one topic that I am doing a lot of research. One can actually shake humanity from its roots. But how do I get it out? What do we do to get it out? And whom do we approach with this? My humble request to you, with both my hands folded, is not to open up about this even for a second to anyone, or not to start working on this chapter till you are done completely reading this. This chapter holds a lot of secrets, and the only reason I am writing such an huge explanation even before starting the content table is because this chapter is the chapter that is going to help you hit the final nail in the coffin. The Mr. X number 6 is Anil Musrat, and the 5 chelas are Swami Priyamji, Devendra Fadnavis, Suresh Oberoi, Aditya Thackeray, Arjun Rampal, and Akshay Kumar. Don't think I have just named one ex-CM here and I am running an agenda. But the fact is that there are other people too involved with this sixth Mr. X. And I shall give a detailed explanation on the same in the slides to follow. All the names, now I feel I will take it out in the open, and when this slide ends, you will find all the links and connections which will take you to the proofs for the words I have spoken. This Swami Priyamji and Imtiaz Khatri are two people who have always created havoc in innocent lives and have done so many things which, when you read, I can guarantee that you will faint, just like I did. Faint in the sense, what I mean is you will go blank and have no stream of thoughts flowing in your mind. These people run a blackmailing racket and the list goes huge. And yes, the first step they take is honey trapping. These people here, when I mention, is the names that I have taken with respect to the Mr. X number 6 and his team of chelas. The Mr. X just wants his job done, and the chelas, not the XCM, but the others, execute it from the ruling party. The kingpin these people have in their team is the Home Minister and his PA. I am just waiting for that one final talk where Ria has said she will make me speak to Mahesh Bhatt. As Ria says, Mahesh Bhatt has a lot to speak on this topic and can give a lot of evidences on the same. Just that one meeting happens, then I will get the ball rolling. Dino Bhai is also on the task, and when we had discussion earlier, he had told not to open up about this to anyone. Sandeep Singh vanished and is not to be seen. I am not sure what is wrong with this guy. And Siddharth Pithani, I don't know why this boy is behaving strange these days. But these are my own people. Maybe I am thinking too much, and that's making me doubt on these people who can actually be genuine. Any which ways, my accounts are fine, and the tasks I had given to Sandeep are completed. So if he wants a break, he is free to make his own choices. Okay. Minaji, this I had read on your channel earlier as well.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So let me just clear a few things here. Here,
Yeah.
the Home Minister and his PA is not Home Minister and PA of India. It is Home Minister and PA of Maharashtra state.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And another thing is that in this slide, when I shared this slide, he was not still sure about, I mean, he was still believing his close circle of people.
Yes.
He was not still aware that his accounts have been tampered with.
Yes.
In the slides that I shared later, because these slides I shared on 20th of June.
Yes, yes.
The slides that I shared later, he has clearly mentioned that these people have played fall with him, have taken over his accounts and have done many unauthorized transactions, which he never authorized.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to make it clear. And one more thing, Minaji, I just wanted to, something just I remembered, the mention of Thakkar scam here. Though I do not have any means to prove it, but yes, there it can be proved digitally as well. My team did get Subramaniam Swamy was the first person who told that Sridevi ji's case was a murder.
Yes.
Okay. So we had approached him first.
Yeah.
Even before sending a team to Dubai for investigations, we had approached him first.
Yeah.
He had initially encouraged us. I mean, he was interacting, he was responding well. But when I did some research, I found that Boni Kapoor was involved in this Thakkar scam.
Yeah.
There was one murder of some Ajay Thakkar or something which was brushed down, and Boni Kapoor had some involvement in it. He was arrested, and there was some issue. Yes, the news is also there out there.
Yeah.
So I brought up this connection. When I brought up this connection about the Thakkar scam and the possible reason for her murder, then Swamiji said that since the death happened in Dubai, he can't help much and he is very busy with other cases. So we had to drop it there. So this is my personal experience.
Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I think for today's session, this is quite a lot for people to digest.
Digest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Deepti, from your side, as well as from our viewers and myself. Thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Yeah, and thank you, Minaji. Thank you, Minaji, for being such a strong personality who is standing for the truth.
Yeah.
Please continue to stay this way.
Viewers should know. Here, I would just like to reiterate that we are not representing any party here. When we speak about these diaries, we are not representing anyone. We are just individuals. We are exposing this, and we are not talking in favor of anybody.
We are not talking in favor of anyone. I am only reading what is written in the drives. Yes. And some of the opinions that he has mentioned, I might not agree with individually.
Yeah, concurrent with, yes.
I might not agree with it individually, but that is not the matter here. I'm just reading what is written.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So all these viewers are thanking you, and so Deepti, we'll wait for another session from you whenever you are prepared. So good night for today.
Sure. Good night, Minaji.
Thank you.
Take care.